Welcome back to Jesus Wins, our devotional series through the book of Revelation. And we have just finished the first section, the little section of the introduction that gives us a foundation for understanding this book. And we're about to enter into the main body of this book. But before we do that, I want to take some time in laying out the structure of the book. Now, I want this to be profitable. I don't just want this to be academic. I want this to be devotional to help you and me in our devotion to the Lord Jesus Christ as we endure and live in this tribulation. So I'm going to get a little technical with you real quick, but so just hang on. So what can we learn about the structure of Revelation? Well, Revelation is made up of 6 sections of symbolic visions and is largely apocalyptic literature. Now you're like, what is apocalyptic literature? Because we really have nothing to compare that to today. I think the closest we might at least think is sci-fi, which it isn't sci-fi at all, although that's how the book of Revelation is treated a lot of times. So what is apocalyptic literature? Well, apocalyptic literature is a genre prominent in Jewish and Christian traditions that uses symbolic visions to reveal divine messages about the end of the world, catastrophic events, final judgment, and the establishment of God's eternal kingdom. So that's what apocalyptic literature is. Again, I'm not going to go much more into that. There are notes posted in the description of this if you want to look back at that. So first, Revelation is made up of 6 sections of symbolic visions and is largely apocalyptic literature section. The first section is unique in that while apocalyptic, it is composed of letters to churches, and the following 5 sections are composed of apocalyptic visions that relate back to the letters for warnings or encouragement. Third, each of the last 5 sections are overlapping recaps of the same events from different perspectives with more or less information, and each section ends with the destruction of the wicked, the salvation of the saints, and the praise from heaven. This is actually what changed my the way I came and understood this book, because I grew up, I guess you can say, in the more traditional futuristic approach to this book, and that's what this book meant. But as I really began to study this book, I noticed in chapter 6 the world was destroyed, everything was over, the wrath of the lamb, Jesus returned. Then the book goes on. So, although I didn't know there was any other way to approach this book, I realized that way couldn't be right. So I started searching. So it's been about a decade long journey now that I've been looking into this book. But anyway, those 3 things, I'm not going to read them again. Like I said, you can check the notes, but let's get to what I really want to get into, the devotional content of this book. So, what is the devotional content of these 6 sections of apocalyptic literature? Well, each of the 6 sections teaches us something about Jesus Christ, and listen, and encourages our devotion to Him. That's what I want this whole study to be about. Not just a study, an academic study, but encouraging our devotion to Christ. So let's real quick look at those 6 sections. The first section in chapter 1:9 through 3:22. This section I entitled Jesus Searches the Church. And this encourages our corporate holiness, our holiness as a church. Section 2, 4:1 through 7:17, Jesus opens the seals. This encourages our trust in Him. Section 3, 8:1 through 11:19, Jesus gives the trumpet. This encourages our prayers and our evangelism. Section 4, 12:1 through 15:4, Jesus rules the trio. This encourages us by our victory over our enemies. Section 5, 15:5 through 19:21, Jesus judges the harlot. This encourages us that justice will come. And last section, section 6, verse 21 through 22, 5, Jesus marries the bride. This encourages us by our eternal state with him. So, as we said at the beginning, this book is the revelation of Jesus Christ. It reveals something about Jesus Christ. It exposes something about Jesus Christ, not just so we can say, oh, I know more about Christ, but so our lives can be devoted to him, committed to him. So, again, I'm going to read um, just what those sections focus on. Section 1 encourages our corporate holiness as a church to Christ. Section 2 encourages our trust in him because it shows Jesus as sovereign, ruling over all, and we can trust in him. This third section encourages our prayers and evangelism, and it gives a picture, remember, symbolic pictures of how our prayers are in heaven and how they come down to earth and how the Lord accomplishes his will through our prayers. And it gives a picture of evangelism and how the Lord blesses that evangelism. So the fourth section encourages us by our victory over our enemies. This is really, I guess you can say, in the second half of the book, the first three sections being the first half, the last three sections being the last half. So in this fourth section, he encourages by our victory over the dragon, who is the devil, and over the beast and the false prophet, which we'll get more into that. But he encourages us by our victory over our enemies, even if that victory comes by death. Just like Jesus Christ. Remember, he's the faithful witness and he's our model. Just like Jesus Christ was victorious over Satan through his death. And when he died, he destroyed the one who had the power of death, that is the devil. And he triumphed over the rulers and authorities and made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them in the cross. And we will do the same if we are, remember, like we said in the first study, in the first devotional, if we are on his side. Even if the enemy kills us, we will triumph over him. So the fifth section encourages us that justice will come. That in this world, yes, so many unjust things happen in this world. Well, like, how long is this going to go on? How long are they going to get away with it? This world is spiraling downhill with all of the agendas, homosexuality, transgender, and this, so prevalent today. I mean, it seems like the world is having victory over the church, over God's people. What's happening? Truth is not prevailing. Listen, justice will come, and Jesus Christ will bring that justice. That's what the fifth section is about. Sixth section encourages us by our eternal state with him. So, after everything, what is our hope? Our hope is to see Jesus Christ face to face, the bride being the church, seeing the bridegroom Jesus Christ face to face, and being wedded to him for all eternity in a perfect world, where there will be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There will be no more pain because the old things have passed away. God will wipe away every tear from every eye. We will not hunger anymore. We will not thirst anymore. The sun will not strike us with any heat, meaning that he will be our shepherd. The Lamb, who is Jesus Christ, will be in the midst of us and lead us to fountains of living water. I mean, we'll see so much in this book about our hope, our eternal state with Jesus Christ. So that's what this book is about. Not just some science fiction movie, not just something off in the future. No, it's to encourage us in our devotion to Christ.